Get fit, get strong, 5 simple steps. So whether you're driving or working out, consider just listening and taking it in. I'm going to share with you the best way, the best tips I can in the simplest way possible, how to get fit and get strong. I'm going to give you 5 simple steps. So first things first, that I feel is important is to have a clear, specific goal. So there's no point starting out on a fitness journey if you're not sure exactly where you're headed. So let's do a little exercise right now. So if you could have your dream body, your health, your fitness, any kind of way you wanted it to be between now and say a year from now, what would that look like for you? Think about it. You could have your body, your health, your energy, however it is you wanted it, you could have it. What does that look like for you? And I encourage you to get clear and specific. When it comes to goal setting, our minds work really best when it comes to having an exact, specific goal to target. Jay's in the house. Looking forward to your workout tomorrow, Jay. I know I'm getting excited for mine. I'm making sure I'm eating lots of healthy stuff and loading up on good fluids and good foods so we can feel good tomorrow and getting all the sleep. So I hope you're doing good, brother. Good to see you. Did you catch any of Sky's? He had a lot. He does his Sunday school today. I was on that earlier a little bit. So getting clear and specific on our goals. That's the very first thing I feel is very, very important, to have a very clear and specific. One way to do it is to have a specific body weight and a body fat percent, right? So it's the reason I like that is because it's very clear and very specific. A body weight and a body fat percent, right? So think about it. What is yours? Mine, I'll share with you, is to be at least 190 pounds and at or below 10% body fat. I saw some. Yeah, I saw some. They were on for quite a while. So the clear and specific goal, right? So to have a specific weight and specific body fat. Now, how do you know what body fat percent you are or what you would like to be? Sometimes not all of us have a clear image of different body fat percentages. So one little thing to consider doing is to go online and do a Google search, a Google image search for men's and women's body fat percentages. And most time you'll see on the scale, you'll see it'll be from low body fat to high body fat, right? And then, so you can whether you're male or female, you can look at the scale and you can see where you would like to be. You can look at physique and say, well, that, for men, it might be around 10 or 12% is a nice range. For women's, it could be between 15 and 20%. It could be a nice range for you. But then you can look at the heavier images and see if you can relate with where you're at. So maybe if you're a man, maybe you're just going to say, example, 20% body fat. And you can look at the picture and you can kind of tell, well, he's, you can kind of gauge where you're at, but then you can also kind of gauge where you want to be. But getting clear. And then also too, if your doctor sometimes has these nice scans, the doctor I go to has what's called a DEXA scan, and you stand on it and it scans everything, and you literally get a 3-page report all the way from body fat to hydration to skin density, all kind of stuff like that. But this is all in an effort to have a clear, specific goal when it comes to health and fitness. So wherever you're at, lock down our clear, specific goal. And then we're going to wrap it up with what I call an affirmation/prayer. And all it is this: I am happy and grateful now that I am your body weight, your body fat percent, right? So I'll do it me as an example. I am happy and grateful now that I am at least 190 pounds and at or below 10% body fat, right? So that's the goal. Now, when I drive to the studio in the morning, I'm cranking up the music and I'm I'm affirming and I'm praying. I am happy and grateful now. And usually when I do it too, I'll sit up straighter and try to fill in my frame to the 190-pound that I'm going for. And I'll express my goal. I am happy and grateful now that I am at least 190 pounds and at or below 10% body fat. And then I put in the work, the 5 simple steps. Like, this is what I'm recommending to everyone, is the 5 simple steps are exercise, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, and mindset. Now, so we have our goal and we have a clear affirmation / prayer. Your body weight, your body fat, your affirmation, I am happy and grateful now that I am, your body weight, your body fat percent. All right, now we'll dive into the 5 simple steps. When you work out, oh, well, I'll show you, Jay. Let's see here. I have these things right here. So I love these right here. It's Beats. And yeah, you see it. It's glaring in the light. There you go, Beats. So it's a wireless, and I do sometimes. A lot of times I used to listen to music a lot. I mean, I've been working out since I was 14. I love listening to good music when I train. But a lot of times these days I'm in the studio and we have music going. A lot of times I'll put on a podcast. I'm listening to this audiobook right now. It's called Atomic Habits. One of my business coaches encouraged me, and I'll share with you. You're always sharing things with me. I'll share this with you. It's free on YouTube. You can audio listen to it. So I'm like today, the last couple of days, it's about a 7-hour audio book. So the last couple of days, I've been working my way through it. And I do it on walks, and I do it when I train. I'll just put it in. I train and listen, and I'm just learning. So, but sometimes I do love like good, like, rock music when I train. So I go back and forth. But a lot of times lately, I've been listening more because I'm in this growth period in my life, I feel like. So let's see here. So we talked about our goal. We talked about having a clear affirmation / prayer, right? I have Audible app. Nice. Yeah. But the gym, I must have music. I know. I'm in the gym. I'm in the gym probably 13 hours most days. So I'm there all day. So I get the benefit, but I know what you mean. I love music as well. So pumping out good music and raging for an hour is a good time. All right. So so let's look at the 5 simple steps, right? Proper training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, and mindset, right? So let's look at training. When it comes to training, I feel like having a balanced approach to a training program is really important. Say, for example, like a blend of cardiovascular exercise and strength training exercise. Imagine for a moment that we have a twin engine airplane, and we have one engine is cardiovascular and another engine is strength. Now, as you're flying along, right, we want to have both engines on the plane, a cardio engine and a strength engine. We don't want to just have one engine, right? So in our workouts, I encourage me and my clients and friends to have a blend of cardio and strength. However you decide to do it, there's multiple options, but to consider that, right? But if podcasts work for you, yeah, I have a good level of intensity, and I can now multitask. I've been working out since I was 14. I'm 56, so 42 years I've been consistent in bodybuilding, and so yeah, I can get a good workout in and a podcast at the same time. I know it might sound kind of funky. So with training, so we talked about having a strength training and cardiovascular training, right? Blend. Now, when building out a training program, there's 5 fundamentals to consider when building out a training program: proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles, and consistency, right? So we're going to break them down a little bit. Proper form. Why would proper form be so important? Well, two big reasons proper form is important. One is so that we don't get hurt, and two is so that we exercise the muscle effectively. Now, think about getting hurt, major setback. So that's a big reason proper form is important. But then also, too, we want to make sure that we're getting the best use of each exercise that we're doing. There's lots of ways to learn proper form these days. You know, back in the 80s and 90s, a lot of times I would love to read magazines and books. I still have my old copies of Arnold's Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding, and I would read each exercise in its full description, just like a kid opening up a Christmas gift or something. And now what's really awesome is online we have all these social media apps and YouTube, and everybody's sharing great demonstrations. We have a lot of people that really demonstrate things well, and I like to get different inputs from different fitness enthusiasts or trainers myself and learn and study the exercise. One little tip to how to go about your ongoing learning of proper form is after you create your program, look up all the exercises in your current program, study them, and then when you go into the gym, implement what you learn. And you can even reference it on your phone, the form. Sometimes, you know, there's certain things where our body's lined up, especially like in a barbell curl, for example. Like I don't like curls like this when the biceps come up too close to the shoulders. I like to have a curl like this when you got about 5 to 6 inches in front of your shoulders for a peak, and then down, right? Like this. That's proper form. That's proper form. And this is not proper form. So you get my point on proper form, right? So proper form. Now let's look at variety. Why would it be important to consider variety into your program? Why not do the same routine over and over again? Why add variety into it? Well, there's two big reasons I feel. One is so that we don't mentally get bored. And then two, our bodies get bored. Someone like myself and Jay that's been working out a while, it's the longer you work out, I feel like it's easier to plateau, right? So someone just beginning working out, a very new, fresh beginning person working out, you can probably stick with the program a while and you're going to get results. But if you've been working out 5 years, 10 years, 20 years consistently or longer, your body is going to adapt really quick. And so at the level that I'm at, working out for 42 plus years, every 4 weeks, I restructure a whole new program. And Jay, we talked about implementing meso cycles. So maybe you have a 12-week goal, but then you can break it up into halves or thirds and concentrate on certain things along the way. And so we change hours, every 4 to 6 weeks or so. So there's lots of ways to consider variety, but it's mainly so that you don't mentally get bored, and then so that your body doesn't get bored and reach that plateau, right? So we looked at proper form, variety. Now let's look at intensity. What comes to mind when you think about exercising with intensity? Well, think about it. That's the challenging part of the muscle, of the movement, right? Imagine for a moment that we're doing chest presses and we're going for, say, 12 repetitions. We'll get to 9, 10, 11, barely get number 12, boom, but we get number 12. What's the most beneficial part of that set? The first few reps or the last few reps? Well, it'll be the last few, right? And why? That's where the overload occurs. That's where the breakdown occurs. See, in the gym, we're just breaking down the muscle. We're breaking it down. It's through the rest and recovery, the nutrition, that it grows back bigger and overcompensates and grows back more muscle. But it's that combination. But that intensity, I feel, is what really triggers that growth stimulus. All right, let's check the chat. Carbs bind water, right? And when people eat keto diets, they eat less food with water in it and no carbs to bind water. So that's why keto see their weight change faster to begin with, right? It's my experience with keto and everything and all that, I remember coming back. I don't know if you remember, Jay, what was the doctor that had the high fat, high protein diet, and I can't remember, but anyway, it does. What happens is, like, for us, we're plant-based, right? Vegan, plant-based. And when you eat like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, lentils, nuts, and seeds, there's a lot of good carbs in there. And the way I understand it is that each carb stores up to stores up to 3 times its weight in water. So when we're carved up, we're really feeling full and big. And, that's why the creatine and the water and the good carbs, you can get these great, crazy pumps. But then when people have foods with less fiber, like less fruits and vegetables, less, things like beans, legumes, lentils, nuts, and stuff like that, a lot of them, my experience is just it's a water fluctuation thing. And then sometimes when people are just experimenting and they trying to jump on the keto wagon, I feel like they might lose a little weight at first because it's water weight. And then when they have cheat meals and go back to maybe, and then it's not even good food, it's just maybe processed food, they end up having a real yo-yo situation that can be really challenging. But yeah, thanks for mentioning that. Jay. So proper form, variety, intensity. Now let's look at proper training principles. There's many different training principles to consider. Things like proper, like compound sets, supersets, drop sets, up and down the rack, 21s, rest pause training. There's all sorts of principles we can incorporate and, I say, sprinkle it into our workout routines, right? So if you want to have a little fun, go on Google, look up workout training principles, and let's incorporate them into your training program over time. Ugh, I hate the high saturated fats. Woo, I want to keep my arteries nice and clear and pure. Yes, animal-free diet. You got that right, brother. Amen to that. So we talked about proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles. Let's finish up this series on consistency. So why would consistency be important in a fitness training program? The power of consistency. Why would that be important? Well, I know it sounds kind of obvious, right? But think about it. Imagine if you had a twin of you, and imagine if you started off on your fitness journey today together. You started working out, 4 days a week, and you ate healthy and you got your sleep, but the other person starts off that way, but then, misses a workout here and there and skips a meal here and there and doesn't always get the good amount of sleep. At the end of the year, who is going to have the best results? The consistent version of yourself, of course. So the power of consistency with your training program is everything. I think Jay and I can both attest to that. My workout plan is 5 days a week. I think Jay's, yours is probably 5 days a week, right? Or probably more. I don't know. If you're 5 is kind of, I feel like my max to be able to recover. But how do you do 5 day a week, Jay? But whatever it is you plan is have consistency. Whether you work out 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, however you do it, just consider getting it done. Right? Include the power of consistency. Right. Now let's look at nutrition. Imagine for a moment that we want to build a beautiful 2-story house from scratch. And imagine that we only have half the materials necessary to build the house. How far are we going to get? About halfway, right? Part of the way. The foods that you and I eat on a daily basis, the foods that we eat are like the supplies that goes towards building our bodies. So if we want to build muscle and stay lean, consider what you're eating. Right? Now, what I recommend a whole food plant-based diet. Consider consuming about 50% fruits and vegetables, 25% whole grains, and 25% plant-based proteins like legumes, lentils, nuts, and seeds. Right. All right, let's check the chat. Push-ups with legs. Yes. Woo, nice, nice. Push with legs, pull with legs, rest, push with bicep, legs, pull with chest, and side delts, rest. Nice. I do rear delts, biceps too, push day 2. Nice, nice. Right on, right on. That looks good, Jay. That looks great. Right on. So when it comes to eating, nutrition, I feel like there are basically 4 different ways in which eating affects our bodies: metabolism, energy levels, blood sugar levels, and insulin levels. Check the chat. Well, that'd be great. That'd be great, brother. Yeah. Do you have my email? Let's see here. Yeah, I'm just gonna give you my Gmail. That's the one I check the most. Thank you, buddy. So we talked 4 different ways eating affects our bodies: metabolism, energy levels, blood sugar levels, and insulin levels. Imagine for a moment that we have a fireplace, and on one hand, we have a stack of oak wood, and on the other hand, we have a stack of paper. Now, not including kindling and getting the fire started, but if we had to choose between the oak wood or the paper to burn in our fireplace, which one will we pick and why? Well, probably the oak wood, right? And why? It's going to be denser. It's going to burn slower. It's going to burn longer, unlike the paper that will burn fast and very inefficient. So it's like with food. Some foods burn more like the oak wood, and some foods burn more like the paper. Great, brother. I appreciate it. I can't wait to check it out. Thank you very much, Jay. Thank you. All right. So now, if you want to do any more research on nutrition, consider watching the documentary, The Game Changers. The Game Changers, right? It's on Netflix and also on YouTube. Right. Next, let's look at recovering. Over the last few years, I've had the honor of training 3 different neurologists, and one is a neuroradiologist, and they all know a lot about the brain, of course, and sleep. And they all said their sleep studies recommend 7.5 to 9 hours sleep a night. Plus, I've done lots of research with just people that are just on their own discovery and doing studies, and everything really aims that I'm recommending to myself and to my friends and family is 7.5 to 9 hours sleep a night, with 2 hours of deep sleep and 2 hours of REM sleep. How do we do that? How do we improve our sleep? Consider a few different things. One is eating no sooner than or later, or however you say it, but then 2 hours before bedtime. So when it's time to go to bed, say if you're going to bed at 9, no later than 7 eating anything. And then minimizing the blue screens, TVs, the phones, tablets, the last hour or 2 before bed, darkening the room, the house, making it very cool, and get a good, and then making it routine, the same time every night, ideally. So that's sleep. Now let's take a look at supplementation. There are basically 2 different types of supplementation: nutritional supplementation and enhancement performance supplementation, right? Nutritional supplementation is like a meal replacement shake, bars, those sort of thing. Enhancement performance supplements is like creatine. And for those over 40 doing hormone replacement, I feel like that falls into that category as well, or any weight loss medication. The fundamentals are exercising, nutrition, recovery, then supplementation. The foundation has to be in place, I feel. Exercising regularly, eating healthy, getting your rest. Then we supplement, right? Take it to the next level. Then finish it up with the mindset. When it comes to the power of mindset in your fitness journey, it's very, very important. You know, it used to be Arnold Schwarzenegger used to always talk about how he would see himself up on the stage winning months before it ever happened. I've trained with champions that talked about how they visualize themselves up on the stage winning their championship months, even years before it ever happened. They saw it first in their mind. So I encourage you to visualize your goal. Get really clear and specific. Get so clear and specific, make it like a blueprint. Like if you were building a home from scratch, like a residential home, you would blueprint the whole house, everything specifically, exactly how it's going to be built. Consider creating your own fitness blueprint. You know exactly what it is you're going to look like, feel like, what kind of clothes you're going to wear, how it's going to feel. Put yourself in that framework. Dial it down to a specific weight and a specific body fat and percent. And then every day, say your affirmation / prayer. I am happy and grateful now that I am your body weight, your body fat percent, right? So I encourage you to get going on this. Take action. Now, some people have the ability to take action on their own. And that's what I wish for you. Like Jay and I, we are driven. We love this. We live for this. It's our passion. But not all people have it that way. So if you feel like you are struggling with it, let me share with you, there's different levels of service that you can get with a trainer or help. The highest level, I feel like, is one-on-one personal training. That is, I love offering that service. I love receiving that service. It's very personal. It's very specific. It's a great service. And it's also a high end. People that come 3 times a week, you know, on average, you know, could spend $1,200 a month on personal training. And then there's, on the other side, there's virtual fitness training or program design. Whereas what that is where I create your program for you and then assist you in following it through and make sure that you follow through with it. And that's a whole nother thing. And it's about less than a third of the price of personal training. And it can be done virtually over the phone and internet. So if you feel like you'd be interested in finding out more about that type of service with me, send me a message, the word fitness, to either 520-400-9573. And we'll schedule a complimentary consultation with no obligation so we can go over your goals and see if this might be a fit for you. So just summarize everything we talked about today: how to get fit, get strong, have a clear, specific goal, know exactly what it is you want to achieve, dial it down to a body weight and a body fat percent. Say it every day in the present tense. I am happy and grateful now that I am your body weight and your body fat percent. Then the 5 simple steps: exercise, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, mindset. With exercise, consider having a blend of cardiovascular and weight training. And when you're building out your strength training program, consider mastering the 5 fundamentals: proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles, and consistency. Number 2, when it comes to nutrition, consider a whole food, plant-based diet consumed of 50% fruits and vegetables, 25% whole grains, and 25% plant-based proteins like legumes, lentils, nuts, and seeds. To your recovery, consider getting 7.5 to 9 hours sleep a night, 2 hours of REM, 2 hours of deep. With supplementation, consider that we have nutritional supplementation and we have enhancement performance supplementation. And last but not least is the 5th step is the mindset. Be clear and specific on your goal. every day. Say your goal in the present tense. I am happy and grateful now that I am. Now, I'll say it as an example. I am happy in mind. I am happy and grateful now that I am at least 190 pounds and at a below 10% body fat, feeling strong and healthy like a supple leopard. Now, see how I added something onto that? I want to feel strong and healthy like a supple leopard. So think how leopards are real supple and loose, but strong and powerful, right? That's the image I'm building up in my mind for myself, right? What is yours? Consider creating your own affirmation and then say it every day. I'm happy and grateful now that I am your body weight, your body fat percent, and then add to it whatever it is you want. Add your dreams, add your personal things too, whatever it is you want. Your relationships, your whatever it is your goals are in life, you can tack it on there and say them every day. All right. My goal is to be here for you and with you every Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. And you can bring your friends and share, bring your questions, comments, and be blessed. And I'll be back, God willing, Tuesday. Bye for now. See you, Jay. Thank you, brother, for being here. Appreciate your support and being here and chatting with you. Appreciate it. All right, brother. See you later. Have a blessed night. And bye for now.